like this and they do movies and shows, it's for burial. It's estate burial. Those who can read is go orthography. I'm telling you. See, a being who can read can see it. A being who can't read can't see it because they don't know. They don't know the etymon. They don't have a third grade etymon degree. They don't even have a third grade etymon degree. So you can put something in their face, and it's a contract, and they'll sign it. You tell them that you're going to kill you next week on Thursday. They say, "Oh wow, I'm getting free credit." And so I'm telling you, what they said in that philosophy page, they meant it. The war is so beautiful, the attack is so effective that they call it beautiful.
Yeah. It'll do its beautiful thing.
The attack of the priest by the priesthood is so well grounded and clever and deceitful, great deceiver, that they called it beautiful.
Beautiful.
And called it a task. Beautiful task.
Yeah. The task we set before ourselves is very simple as well as a very
And so that's a missionary work, isn't it? It's a task. Mm-hmm. And they have what? Achieved their ends to a degree. But Uranus and Saturn got something else to say about that. Don't mean they didn't have fun for a while. Have fun. All they did was do what? They dug a lot of holes to bury a lot of people. They dug so many holes, they're backing into them. Put that way too, also. But you all already know what that reap what you sow means.
I don't know what they mean by looking up the McDonald's lawsuit. So they said look up the McDonald's lawsuit. But
I can't hear you.
Someone was saying to look up the McDonald's lawsuit. I don't know which lawsuit that is.
Oh, so now they know where Roe versus Wade has really been serving over these decades. You know, these people haven't figured out how all these burger joints have popped up on every other within less than a mile of each other with multiple brands and how they can keep high stock. And yet children kept disappearing. And women, for the sake of, what do they call it? Women's liberation, have been helping in the genocide operation of getting rid of their own offspring, and turn around, didn't know they were eating them also. Yeah, go look up that lawsuit. That's going to tell you a lot too. What we've been telling you for years that many of you probably didn't believe. Oh, by the way, they're going to be closing a lot of stores this year. Burger joints. Oh. You know, years ago, this hybrid European, she used to come on, where's the beef? People didn't know that the beef was actually people. Animal husbandry. You don't know that the farm is also the community. Farming humans. This stuff is far deeper than you thought it was, and it's more uncomfortable than you thought it was. However, with temperance, take the information as you get it and turn it into energy to make this place a better place for humanity. Help those who are helping you. Is there any others?
Let's see. Negam Bay Muxing Ali says history says 3% of the people fight and make change. Then those who fear to fight come out. When victory is assured, we deal with fear.
It's called the hunter's monkey theory, but it ain't a theory. But I'll say this much. Within the next few years, you won't have to worry about most of these institutions that you've gotten used to coming back, because most of them have run their course and will not only not come back, you will find that most of them were not even necessary in the first place, and they were actually part of the feeder programming. Now remember what I said to you, feeder programming. They haven't told you that publicly yet, but you're going to be hearing about it probably in the next year or maybe. I don't know. Somebody will start telling you.
What was?
Feeder programs where you've been actually, for generations, been prepared as a food source on more levels than you thought. So when you read that philosophy page, you need to read it again and read between the lines.
Let me see. I got any question. Here's a question, I think. Oh, here Mo West says, I heard y'all say Mexicans are Moors, but I look more Albion.
So? On Albion's amalgamated Moors? What's up with that? Is Mexico Al-Moroccan? See, what people keep getting mixed up, they keep saying the hybrid is American, but then they turn around and act like Mexicans aren't Americans. So now they call somebody who's not American, and then try to deny the Al-Moroccan pedigree to Aboriginal people. Mexicans are Aboriginal indigenous to this land. They are Al-Moroccan. They are descendants of Moroccans. Al-Moroccan is American. Come off it. Wake up. We're still doing a wake up. This is back to our earlier conversation. We're still in the process of still waking people up. It hasn't dawned on them yet really what's going on. Some of us are still hooked into the mind control programming. What do you think Older Mexum is? Olmec is Older Mexum. Get over it. Y'all need to grow up. But again, like I said before, this stuff's going to be happening so fast now, and so many institutions that have kept the people asleep, dumb, and distracted are being destroyed at such a rate that is being just poured out to you a little bit so you can handle it. But if you really saw what's going on behind the scene, most of you mentally wouldn't be able to handle it. That's why we've been telling you for years, some of the things that we've been doing with you or speaking to you about are really for mental exercises to prepare you for other things that were quickly going to be coming upon you. Likewise, get prepared for some more stuff.
Sometimes, when you're going through a detox, well, most times,
that's what it is.
When you're going through a detoxification process, that Herkimer effect is you feel worse before you can feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what we're going to go for. And it's for some.
No, not that's. Think that's
some
what we're going through.
Won't survive it. Some will break down. They think that it's the end. But
that's again part of the caring for humanity, because if there wasn't love here for humanity, this stuff would just be blown out, and half of them be already gone. Even the fact that the hybrids also know that, which is really why they accelerated their kill machines on multi-level, but it was interrupted. People need to know a lot of things that this hybrid had already planned and initiated. He was interrupted. It wasn't that it wasn't already on the path. It wasn't that it wasn't rolled out. He was interrupted. However, it's like you can do what you can to aid and to support people in upliftment, but you can't make them want to be uplifted. Because at some point, nature takes over. Nature decides whether something has respect for its origin or not. All things that have no bond or honor to their origin, nature is going to find a way to get rid of it anyway. So this is an opportunity for those, like when you look at, and this is back to where the metaphor comes into what you would call a metaphysical reality, from the above to the below. So metaphysics is actually hex alpha. Metaphysics is the metaphysical operation that people try to make you think is totally separate. That which is above, so shall it be below. Therefore, those of you who really comprehend what's up will turn your hearts back to your ancient mothers and fathers, or experience the curse that's on Midgard, and you will be reaped by your own choice. So don't blame nobody else, and don't say that you haven't been told, because you have. And don't pretend you don't comprehend or understand, because you really do. That's not a judgment. That's just observational statement. Because the Son of Righteousness has arrived. They can call justice Jesus. They can call it Muhammad. They can call it Zakrib. They can call it Musa. Call it what you will. It's a recurring energy.
Roxy, Roxy, forgive me, I can't get all your appellation in, wants to know where we can get a Dharma manual. I know you can't really, they're not readily available, or are they to people, or are they? Because I know you had one.
Most people who've been traveling, if you know some people that come from other political jurisdictions, the test that they take when they get a green card is from a Dharma manual. Just in case you didn't know that. Now, and because, but what they've done for the most part, when they have people coming from different areas, they will do a verbal civic test and questioning, etc. That's because most of the government platforms have been corrupted and colored and are prima facie. But the Daughters of American Revolution is Washington, D.C., is the Dharma manual. And as a matter of fact, Brother Lamont has been actually teaching constitutional enforcement classes via the Dharma manual. And of course, you already know I gave Tamara a Dharma manual for her to share it with people. It's sort of like Dharma manuals should be in all your little civic groups, because that's standard principles of citizenship and national principles. Universal, coming from Muslim law. And for those who are less familiar, Dolly Madison, you'll see her clothes. They even have her clothes on display, including her turban at Washington, D.C. It's never been a secret. You can't get in there now because they're locking that stuff down. Because that whole foreign territory is being fenced in. It's a political territorial issue. Now you're talking about territorial jurisdiction for absolute real. Now see how as things have passed, they're being forced to do certain things that are very uncomfortable for the public, but the general public still have no idea what's really going on, and yet it's blatantly in their faces, including the POW wired inward arch fencing with barbed wire around the White House, and people still ain't caught on what the signal is.
Here's a question, though. Bantu Mandigo said, well, isn't Black Law's dictionary dead?
Say it again?
Asking if Black's Law dictionary is dead, or stating, isn't it dead?
Did.
I don't know what they mean by that.
I don't know.
Or are they saying like of no use?
Henry Campbell Black happened to be a translator, so he's one of the major author translators. But the principles of jurisprudence are ancient and modern. So, what's I don't comprehend the question.
It's not. Can Aduke ask? Can they make Washington D.C. a state?
No, it's a territory under Rome, under the Roman jurisdiction. From a political perspective, it would be called a foreign territorial outpost. That's a political fact.
He says that's what it's going to become.
No, that's what it is, and that's what it's been. That's what it was. Right now, it's in what you call war powers captivity. That's what defense represents. And that's what defense actually is, not so much what it represents. That means there's an act of war going on. The public's not being told bluntly what's going on. I'm telling you what's happening. Part of what's happening. I haven't told you all that's happening. I told you part. This is again why people in Washington that are domiciled in that area couldn't vote, because it's not a part of the legitimate republic union of states or states united. So they are by fact not in any form what you would call citizens of the republic. They actually would be under the jurisdictional powers of Rome.
Here's a question. Do we have two presidents now?
You got a president for the republic, which is being reinstated, which is Nassar and Gassar that you talked about earlier, and his name is Donald Trump. And you have a president of the failed and bankrupt foreign corporation under war powers operations under military guard known as Joseph Biden in a cloned protege puppet.
Okay. Jeff says, I recently heard a theory that wicked Moors who never fell from power are really running the world from behind the scenes using the hybrid Europeans as a front. Is there any truth to this?
There's always some truth to that. Not total, but it is some truth. Then you also have some, what you would say, off Midgard worlders who have been part of this crap.
Someone wanted to know, Duke, is the White House shut down?
Like, really?
Sherman Story
It's
says,
under war powers and military operations under war powers. It's just not being told in the mainstream media, which you already understand, because the dark priesthood still controls the mainstream media.
Charmaine Stewart says the post office has POW flags at half-mast.
Distinguished Postal Service. Keep that in mind.
Why? The question was, why?
Why they have not what?
Why do they have POW flags at half-mast?
Again, war powers under military operations. For many of you, how many of you have noticed that many of your local post offices, that when you went there to get money orders, that they did not issue money orders and they sent you to a main office? Did any of you pay attention to that? They're not allowed to take any finance for no money orders. I'm just throwing something out there for you to look at. Again, things are occurring right in front of the people, but the people are being distracted by other things. You know what I mean, Dr. G?
Yes. Yes. I do know. I know every now and then we look at mainstream on YouTube just to see what narrative they're putting out. Just like we looked at that and picked out the obvious, like that's not logical. You know, it's not that lax. And even the people on guard, they look like they look like rent cops, or rent not cops, but rent secret
well,
and put them in service.
You notice that none of them are wearing uniforms with
they're slovenly
flags on it,
and they're slovenly looking. Look like they look like if they had to run somewhere, they couldn't run. You know, to the
now you corner. Already know. You know what it is, and you know what it was before it even became public.
It's a joke.
The deal of it is, much of this stuff is a show for the public to keep you preoccupied on two fronts. One, to limit what you call disruption, social disruption, and two, while things are being put in place to take the place of some of these institutions that will be dismantled in both the educational format and in the economic format. So keep that in mind, you all. But anyway, I appreciate you all sharing with us again, and also recognize why I chose the title, A Metaphysical Analysis of Chapter 1 of the Circle 7 Quran, because it is metaphysical, i.e.